Number 4. The Chinese. A small group of indentured Chinese workers first came to British Guyana from the south coast of China in 1853 and is today the most acculturated of all the descendants of indentured workers in Guyana. Although the Chinese language and most Chinese customs, including religion, disappeared during the indentured servants era, today the Chinese culture within the Guyanese society is growing robustly. The current Chinese population is one of the major controllers of the retail and restaurant businesses and is a great contributor within the construction industry in Guyana, making them an important part of Guyana's economic growth.
Chinese clothing. Based on historical discoveries, Chinese clothes dates back to the later era of Paleolithic times, that is, 1.7 million years ago to the 21st century BC. Materials were used of animal skins, and decorations were of small stones and animal teeth. The real clothes were not invented until about 5,000 years ago by the Yellow Emperor. The traditional Han Chinese clothing. It is usually in the form of long gown, cross collar, wrapping the right label over the left, loose white sleeves and no buttons but a sash. Although it is simple in design, it gives different feeling to different wearers. The Chinese suit, also known as the Tangzhongyang. It is a combination of the Manchu mail jacket of the Qing dynasty and the Western style suit. It is usually straight collared with coiled buttons down the front. Its color and design are in traditional Chinese style, but the tailoring is Western. The cheongsam originated from the Manchu female clothes. It evolved by merging with Western patterns that showed off the beauty of a female body. Its features are straight collar, strain on the waist, coiled buttons, and slits on both sides of the dress. Materials used are usually silk, cotton, and linen. Cheongsam is the most popular Chinese attire in the world today.
Ancient Chinese religious beliefs were centered around three main religions: Confucianism, Taoism, and Buddhism. Confucianism was founded by a man named Confucius, who took the older religious precepts and translated them into guidelines for social mores. It was more of a philosophy than a true religion. Buddhism is said to be created in the 16th century in India and was introduced to China through Central Asia. The Buddhists believe that human life is miserable and spiritual emancipation is the highest goal to seek. The Buddhists also believe in reincarnation. Taoism, also known as Taoism, is a Chinese religion that was developed over 2,000 years ago. It is translated as the Way. It deals with the spiritual elements of life. As of the 17th century, several religions were added to the Chinese culture. These are Islam, Catholicism, and Protestantism. Today, there are 14 million Muslims living in China, 4 million Catholics, and 10 million Protestants.
The Chinese culture has been added to Guyanese society in many forms, one of which is in its food. So some foods that were originated by the Chinese that we now enjoy and consume in Guyana are Chinese fried rice, and I'm blessed to have a plate of this fried rice with me here today. So Chinese fried rice is a family of fried rice dishes which is popular in Greater China and around the world. It is sometimes served in Chinese banquets just before dessert. So the basic elements of Chinese fried rice are cooked rice, and they usually prefer to use leftover rice from the day before. So it's cooked rice, meat and vegetables, mixed with eggs, soy sauce, and garlic for flavor and seasoning. Also, they use cooking oil for greasing. Besides the Chinese fried rice, there's also wonton soup. So a wonton is to China what ravioli is to Italy. It is a widely recognized food that is enjoyed by many people in numerous ways. In Chinese cooking, a wonton is typically made from a thin sheet of dough, cut into small circles or squares, then wrapped around a small portion of meat or vegetable filling. The wonton, similar to a dumpling, can be baked or fried. However, it is mainly boiled to make soup. Besides the wonton soup, there is also chow mein, which most of us are familiar with. These are Chinese stir-fried noodles with vegetables and sometimes meat or tofu. So the dish is popular throughout the Chinese diaspora and appears on the menus of most Chinese restaurants abroad and of course locally. And so with that, we will come to an end on the dishes that the Chinese would have contributed to Guyanese society.